much physical activity is enough to benefit your health? Let's look at the recommended guidelines. So it's recommended that adults accumulate 150 minutes or 2.5 hours of moderate intensity physical activity, things like brisk walking or cycling, every week, or 75 minutes, just over an hour, of vigorous intensity physical activity. A good example of this would be running every week, or even shorter durations of very vigorous physical intensity activities such as sprinting, circuit training, running up the stairs, and things like that every week, or a combination of the three. Adults should also do activities to develop or maintain strength at least twice a week. Things like heavy gardening, carrying heavy shopping, or resistance exercises like weight training or resistance band training. Adults should aim to minimise the amount of time spent being sedentary, not spending too much time in positions that don't use any energy, like sitting for long periods of time on the sofa or at the computer or at your desk at work. These guidelines provide excellent advice and a good structure for us to adopt. But the practicalities of how they fit into everyday life can be a challenge. How to fit 2.5 hours of moderate intensity activity into your weekly routine, along with some resistance training twice a week, can be really difficult. It was previously recommended that activity should be spread throughout the week by being active on most days and accumulated in bouts of 10 minutes or more every day. Now, whilst it's absolutely right to be as active as possible every day, it's not always possible to do this. Most recent evidence suggests that these guidelines can in fact be accumulated in bouts of any length and or achieved in 1 or 2 sessions per week, while still leading to the same health benefits. This is great for individuals who struggle to fit dedicated time to physical activity every day, and allows them to train at more convenient times, like at the weekend, for example. It also suggests that health benefits can also be achieved from lower volume intensities and frequencies of activity, which is particularly important for individuals with lower levels of physical activity or disabled adults who aren't able to exercise every day. Now, minimising sedentary behaviour seems fairly simple. If individuals achieve the recommended physical activity guidelines, then they will, hand in hand, reduce their amount of sedentary behaviour. Unfortunately, it's not quite the case. The problem, and it's a pretty big problem, is sedentary behaviour is commonplace all around the world. Sedentary behaviour is not just simply a lack of physical activity. It's spending too much time in positions that don't use any energy at all. Many of us sit for long periods on the sofa or at our computer or at our desk at work. In fact, more than 40% of women and 35% of men spend more than 6 hours a day desk-bound or sitting still. And this applies as much to those aged between 16 and 24 as it does to those aged between 64 and 75. And it's also a big risk even to those people who regularly exercise. Adults should aim to minimise the amount of time being sedentary, and when physically possible should break up long periods of inactivity with at least some light physical activity. So things like having a standing desk at work, having regular breaks where you get up and walk around, popping the hoover around the house, or doing the cleaning are great examples. Okay, in general, adults should absolutely aim to be physically active every day. The more time spent being physically active, the greater the health benefits. But importantly, don't get stressed or anxious because you can't do something every day. If it works better for you to do it over the weekend, then that's absolutely fine. And always remember that any activity is better than no activity, and a little bit more is even better still. If you've got any questions, just ask them in the comments below.